record a little short video just to kind of explain how to get the most out of any movement you're doing at home at the moment, or if you're managing to go outside and have runs, cycles, things like that. I thought it'd be nice to just give you a little bit of information. I've been working in the fitness industry and teaching yoga, studying the subject of movement for many years now, and I just thought it'd be nice to share a few tips, hints, ways of getting the most out of whatever movement you are doing at the moment. So I would just like to say something a little bit about HIIT training. You may have heard of HIIT training, you probably have. It's basically interval training, so you have a short period of really intense exercise and then a little rest period. This can be an excellent way to train, especially at the moment, because you might have limited space at home. You can do HIIT training with any exercise basically. So you can do, say, 30 seconds of squat jumps in your living room, and then have a 30-40 second break, then do another 30 seconds. If you're running or cycling outside, you can do HIIT training in that way, so that you can do 30 seconds full on cycling as fast as you can, and then 40 seconds just taking it easy, letting the pedals move by themselves. Sprinting is a great way to work out, and it means that you can be outside for less time. You can be running for less time than you would normally. I also find as well that things like endurance training with running can cause injuries. So if you're going for crazy long runs, then it's more likely that you can get an injury generally because of the repetitive kind of impact strain on the joints, etc. So it's my preferred way to train. Like, I've always really enjoyed things like boxing because it's power training, it's speed training. I really like fast movement. And this is kind of how I see HIIT training. I see HIIT training as many as you can, as fast as you can, of whatever you're doing. And then a little sort of period. And it can be active rest, you have to stop, but you can just take it easy and work at a moderate level for your break period. In fact, I've just been doing some HIIT training videos with Les Mills Grit, and they do plank as an active rest. So they'll do some squat jumps, some jumping lunges, and then the active rest is plank. For me, that's fantastic because you're getting a little bit of upper body strength training. You're still working your core while you're doing your rest period. And then when you go back to your HIIT training, you've got that explosive movement again. So it's brilliant for toning the muscles. So if you're looking to sort of build a little bit of muscle and you don't normally do weight training or any other kind of muscular building exercises, then it can be brilliant for just quickly building a little bit of extra muscle, more so than endurance cardiovascular training. HIIT training is also efficient, so as I said before, you can get the same benefits as you can get with a long amount of endurance in a very short space of time. So half an hour of HIIT training can be just as good for your heart, for your metabolism, for your lungs, your cardiovascular system, your mood, as an hour of endurance training. So it's really worth doing, but I just wanted to really push the fact that you've got to just go nuts for that small amount of time. Now, when I say go nuts, I don't mean be reckless with your technique or do anything that's a little bit, compromising your safety in any way, which is where the technique thing comes in. So you want to push yourself, but with perfect technique. And that for me is always what is the magic ingredients towards getting your absolute perfect optimum workout. So the technique is important. So go over technique if you're going to do something like squat jumps. Really focus on, for example, knee alignment, where you're landing on your feet, and practice it slowly first until you feel confident. So you can do, for example, a really slow squat jump. So in a squat jump, you might set your feet a little bit wider than your hips. Sit down, making sure the weight's in your heels as well as the balls of the feet. Let the arms go back, and then you jump, and then come back down, land soft, jump. And then just practicing this slowly, and then you can get the technique right. And then when it comes to doing the HIIT training, you're confident that you know what you're doing with your body. So that's a little bit of a good thing to focus on with the HIIT training, hints and tips. The other thing is to, it's not really a shortcut HIIT training, even though it takes less time. You've really got to push yourself. And I think that's absolutely key. So the people that really push themselves are the ones that get athletic fitness. So don't be kind of like, oh, this doesn't feel right, or, push yourself. And I know when you're doing this on your own, it can be really difficult to do, to motivate yourself. But just focusing on the fact that you're spending less time doing it, just absolutely go for it and try and enjoy that feeling as well, because the more you push yourself, generally, the more the happy hormones will kick in, which is another benefit of doing that cardiovascular exercise, because even weight training as well will release endorphins. And so especially when you really go for it and really push yourself, it will release quite a few different chemicals. So things like dopamine will be released, which, as you probably already know, is really important to regulating your moods, and so it'll give you a little bit of a mood boost. And again, I always find the harder I train, or the more effort I put into my training, the more reward I get in that sense. I feel so good, I feel like I've really pushed myself and I've worked really hard, and then the mood reflects that afterwards, and it's a natural chemical, scientifically proven reaction to exercise. And then, so this is it reduces stress, basically. So immediately your stress will be reduced. So if you're feeling a bit stressed, and morning is a good time to do it. If you wake up and you're not in a particularly good mood, you're feeling a bit demotivated or a little bit down, go out, just do 30 minutes of HIIT training in any form, whether it be cycling, running, doing a little bit of aerobics or exercise in your living room, whatever it is. Just give it a shot when you wake up, before you even have your breakfast. And then you'll feel really like you deserved your breakfast as well, which is really satisfying. The other good thing about HIIT training is that it will increase your metabolism for a very long time after. And again, a shorter amount of HIIT training you'll feel that your metabolism is working well anyway, because you'll be hungrier. But it actually improves this kind of moving around, getting going of everything, your systems, and you'll burn more calories and more fat for longer afterwards, basically. So your metabolism is raised. So never think of exercise necessarily as, I've done this much exercise so I can eat this much today. Think of, you do your exercise, and that is burning the calories at the time, but then it's also, pushing your metabolism, your metabolic rate for a while afterwards as well. So that's another thing to remember that's happening in your body. And so focusing, I would say, is number 3 important. So you've got technique, you want to push yourself, and you want to focus. So the more you put your brain into the movement you're doing, the better the movement will be and the more benefit you'll get. So this is where things like yoga come in. So yoga is obviously fantastic for many, many different things. It's to do with all-round holistic health. So it's brilliant for your mental health. It's brilliant for just understanding all aspects that make up who you are, and what is around us as well. So it's a life philosophy rather than exercise. But when it comes to your body specifically, yoga generally, what it should do, promotes awareness of the body, and proprioception, which is your body's awareness of itself in space, interoception, which is your body's awareness of what's going on inside, so your heart rate, digestion, stuff like that. So these things are improved, and then that carries through into all movement that you do. So it's not just the yoga at the time, it's getting up off the sofa, going for a walk, cooking dinner. Every single movement you do, you'll be a little bit more aware of, and then eventually you start to move better. This is also why I like martial arts training, because it kind of incorporates a little bit of that. If you do kung fu or boxing or anything like that, there is an increased focus, proprioception, the speed training aspect of it, and it increases your body's connection to your brain, basically. So you get this ability to focus on particular muscle groups, on particular areas of the body. So you've got an injury. So say, for example, I've got shin splints and I go running. When I'm running, because I practice a lot of yoga, I have a better awareness of where my weight might be distributed in my foot. So then I can start to adjust my running technique, really particularly, so that maybe I can reduce the risk of the shin splints coming back. Say, for example, I've got knee pain. when I practice a lot of yoga, I'm really focused on my body in a way that I can start to figure out where that knee pain might be coming from. For example, I might have something going on with my foot, or I've noticed my technique is a bit weird with my foot when I'm doing yoga, and then this could be affecting the hip, the knee and the hip. So you really can heal your body and understand your body better when you do yoga. So this is a really good reason to do yoga. A lot of people don't bother with yoga because they don't feel that endorphin, dopamine rush when they're doing it. So a lot of people will focus on, you know, looking fit, you know, losing weight, that kind of thing, and miss out the yoga. The yoga is sort of a little afterthought for stretching the muscles out, but don't discount its importance and how it can be unbelievably good for your body. So definitely incorporate a little bit of yoga into your practice. It's also brilliant for strengthening and toning as well. The body weight stuff is brilliant. There's a lot of kind of calisthenic style stuff in yoga that can be put into it. Handstands, arm balances, core work. You know, it does tone your body as well. And it's lean tone. Because you're stretching at the same time as toning and working the muscles, you get this sort of lean, athletic look rather than this kind of like, you know, you know what I mean, spit and sawdust style stuff. So yeah, I just wanted to kind of share that with you really, and just give you a little bit of information about why bother doing some exercise at home. If you're not the kind of person that is very self-motivated, there is loads of stuff you can do that's quite, in a short space of time, quite easy. For example, in my YouTube channel, I've put a little 10-minute HIIT workout. It's so easy. You just do a minute of something and then rest for a bit, and then a minute of something and the rest. And it's 10 minutes, you know, and even that will give you a lot of benefit. It will bring up your metabolism, it will bring up your mood. There's plenty of stuff you can do. So just remember, when you're doing any kind of movement, to think about your technique. It's absolutely key, because your technique will stop you getting injuries. And remember, your technique is unique to you. So we've all got different stuff happening in our bodies. We've all got different spinal alignment. We've got different hip bone shapes, shoulder bone shapes. So your technique is quite unique to you. And so doing things like yoga will allow you to figure out what's happening in your body, pain, that kind of thing that you experience when you do move. So yoga is brilliant for helping you with your technique, and whatever movement you're doing, number one priority is your technique. Then putting in the effort. You know, it's not easy. It isn't easy. It sometimes feels like you're going to be sick when you do HIIT training. Be aware of when you last ate, whether you drank last night, you know, whatever you didn't sleep very well, that kind of thing really affects how much effort you can put in. Don't forget that varies from day to day. You know, some days I might go for a much shorter run because actually I think, God, you know, I'm feeling tired today. Haven't got the energy to put in, so I will take less time over my run. Listen to your body. You don't have to go absolutely nuts every time you work out, but you just know where that push is when you're pushing yourself, and it can vary from day to day. And then focus. So focusing, thinking about what you're doing. I'm doing a squat, so and I really want to work my glutes. So at the moment, for example, you know, I'm trying to strengthen my glutes, or even just fire up my glutes a little bit more when I do a squat, because everybody uses muscles in different ways. So I'm going to focus on my glutes as I do my squat. And then I'm going to feel the muscles as I go up and down, maybe try a couple of slow repetitions of the squat to notice where I'm feeling it. Even isometric or static squats can be good, just to notice what muscles you're using. Think about where the weight is in your foot, or if you're in a plank position or a handstand, on your hand. That makes a big difference. So focusing on the exercise, focusing on what you're trying to achieve in that exercise, whether you're trying to push your heart rate, you're trying to get really, really sweaty, you're focusing on that out of breath feeling, so you're working anaerobic energy system, maybe you're trying to work your quadriceps more, whatever. Focus, thinking about what you're doing while you do it. That's another good reason to practice yoga. And number 4, remember how important it is for your brain. So exercise, cardiovascular exercise and weight training, studies have shown promotes the growth of new cells in your hippocampus. And your hippocampus is responsible for memory and learning. And so it really can be brilliant for your brain. You're actually working your brain out while you're doing exercise. So don't forget that as well. Don't forget that it's, you know, if you're one of these people who are quite into reading and you're quite techie, or you know, you spend a lot of time on the computer, it can feel a little bit like exercise isn't to do with this, but that's absolutely not right at all. Everything is connected. So I hope this has been of some help. I obviously offer a lot of different things. Over the years, I've taught many different kinds of classes. Yoga is my main love, but I do like to incorporate all these different disciplines and exercises into yoga, just because I think it's good to be varied. And so I offer on this YouTube channel a lot of different things, on my website. Every week I do a yoga video, fresh hour or more yoga video for you to have a look at. And yeah, drop me a message if you've got any questions, and I hope you are happy and well, and I hope you are moving to promote your mood and to boost your mood. So stay happy.